on to the second topic of economics, which talks about a fascinating topic in business, which is technology. I'm here with Mr. Abbas Kamuddin, the board director and the past chairman in FITIS, to give his insight about technology, enhancement in business to capitalize tech happenings, and how technology can be used to achieve objectives in post-war. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. So very warm welcome to all of you. Am I audible? Yes, great. Thank you. So a very warm welcome to all of you, and it's a pleasure to see so many of you joining us on a Friday evening. I hope that we can do justice to the time that you're spending here. And certainly, initially, I would like to start off by thanking BNP for inviting me to share my thoughts with you all. And let's get into it. So. Firstly, I think I have to thank Mr. Rajapaksa as well for laying the foundation for me as to the importance of digital or the importance of ICT. Over the last 3 years, especially when I was the chairman of the Federation of IT Industry Sri Lanka, I've been preaching the mantra to just about everyone that I met, be it political leaders, be it from the president to the ministers to business leaders to our students to graduates. And that has been the importance of a digital economy for Sri Lanka. So it's no secret that Sri Lanka missed the third industrial revolution, right? Countries in Asia, countries like Singapore, Malaysia, etc., did fantastically well in the third industrial revolution. That's all about components. That's all about automating industry, those elements. And we didn't jump into the bandwagon, but we saw countries around us getting in there, and we saw fantastic prosperity for these countries, right? But here's a chance for Sri Lanka. We can actually leapfrog into the fourth industrial revolution. And the fourth industrial revolution is all about building a strong digital economy. So for those of you who are not aware of a digital economy essentially is about, generating a high level of productivity, efficiency, and a high level of, output through digitizing of every element of our economy, from whether it be digital government, be it digital financial services, be it digital education, be it digitizing of companies, digital entrepreneurship, so on and so forth. So a digital economy will bring about, like I said, an unprecedented level of productivity and efficiency. And this then becomes economic prosperity for the individuals, for the public, as well as for organizations within this economy. Just as an example, agriculture technology, agri-tech that we call it. Agri-tech has proved to bring about 10 times more productivity and reduce human capital by 80%. And companies, economies that have implemented agri-tech well have seen these results, and it's not a myth, it has happened. So most people that I meet over the last 2 years have been asking me, is it a fact or fiction? Is it going to happen in our lifetime, etc.? Well, interestingly, let me share some stats as to how well Sri Lanka is ready currently for the economy to move into digital. So just some interesting stats. These are stats taken maybe from 2019. We've got, out of our whole population, we've got 7.3, close to over 7 million people who are active internet users. We've got 6.5 million in mobile active users. We've also got, interestingly, close to 6 million Facebook users, WhatsApp users, all those within the 6 million range. And most importantly, these 7 million plus people they are on the internet, they are online for more than 6 hours a day. And they're spending more than 2 hours a day on social media. So these are your customers. As business people, these are your customers. And they are spending so much of their time online. How do you engage with them? How do you talk to them? Are you missing out a huge opportunity? So that's something to keep in mind, right? Let me also share some other interesting thoughts, right? Out of the 7.75 billion people in the world, 4.5 billion people have access to internet today, right? And that's an impressive figure. If you take Sri Lanka, out of 21 million people, more than 10 million people as of 2020 have access to internet users. Right? These are all verified figures. So this just gives you an idea of exactly that the groundwork is there. The opportunity is there to be exploited. It is up to organizations to see how they can exploit this opportunity. So one of the feedbacks that I keep getting regularly is that, digital transformation is years away. Most companies that I speak to tell me digital transformation is years away. I don't see our company having to change anytime soon. Well, that was all well and fine until COVID hit us. COVID has smashed that myth, right? So what do I mean by that? Let me just share some interesting insight as to what COVID has done to our economy. Just a few key points, right? Digital education. 60% of students currently carry out with their education during this pandemic, right? We have eTakshala, which has millions of hits per day, right? We have teachers in government schools coming from rural villages who sometimes are hardly able to speak English, teaching students online, right? By using various different tools from eTakshala to various different tools. We have got ICTA, the government agency representing the ICT industry, that has set up a platform like what we are on Microsoft Teams or Zoom or whatever it is. And they established this platform, and they have had over 50,000 online meetings for different government sectors throughout this period, right? And this was a while back. I'm sure that number has drastically increased, right? If you take, for example, e-learning. Today, public and private universities, the disruption that private and public, especially public universities go through. Today, public and private universities are running all their programs online ahead of schedule for most of them on their degree programs, right? They're finding it more efficient. Today, we are talking to most of these universities to see how we could actually look at a blended learning model where, like Mr. Rajapaksha mentioned, you teach online and offline, which also addresses the issue of our limited intake for universities, public universities, right? By doing blended, you can double your intakes, right? We have got Colombo Stock Exchange, right, that are making some of the very old school